Hey kids, welcome to Live from the Dive. I am John Patrick Robbins, and in tonight's show we are lucky to have Dr. Michael Anthony Ingram, Jake St. John, and of course I'm going to send everything over to our hosts, Skaja and Skaja.
Hello, John. Hi, Michael and Jake. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
How's everybody?
Doing all right.
I'm doing well.
So we're gonna dive right in and read a little bit, and then maybe have a little discussion. We'll see where it goes. Michael, if you would like to start.
All right. Thank you. Yes, it's great to be here. I'd like to start with a piece titled "The Ain't of What Is Philosophy." In youth, I embrace the ain't of what is the is of what ain't philosophy. Unquestioning acceptance. I walk blindfolded, accepting shadows as substance. No need to peek behind the curtains because my mama said it is what it is if it is what it is. My daddy said it is what it is if it is what it is. The doctor said it is what it is if it is what it is. And the preacher said it is what it is if it is what it is. Yet time, our patient sculptor, chipped away at the facade, revealing the hidden ism, a glimmer of truth beneath the painted mask. Now I dance with doubt, a waltz of question and answer, if familiar cracks, revealing something new. It is not a betrayal, but a metamorphosis, the chrysalis of what was, birthing the butterfly of what is. And if familiar holds, it is not stagnation, but a deeper understanding, the layers of an onion peeled back, revealing the sweet, pungent core. So let the questions be your compass. For in their swirling dance, you'll not only find out what it ain't, you'll also find out what it is. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, dig that.
Just a really strong start. I've never heard you read before, and I'm just blown away.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That good damn presence, man. Great.
Yeah. I love, I'm a spoken word artist, so I love having opportunities to just, as I call it, metaphorically scream, poetry, and
Yeah, I like that delivery.
Yeah, that was, man. That was really cool hearing you read, dude. It really was.
Let's move to Jake. Read something for us.
This poem is called Nightcap. Nightcap. Sometimes, late at night, when I can't sleep and the glasses are empty, I wander down the hallway, past bedrooms, some of them full, some of them empty. I trip over laundry and navigate the stairs. I head into the garage where I'll stand and look out into the night. Usually the moon hangs over the yard, or at least the street light on the far side of the woods breaks through. On some nights, coyotes yip the darkness. Other nights, owls echo the shadows. But tonight, there's nothing. So I guess I'll go back in the house and write a poem. I wrote that on the 19th.
That's nice, Jake. I like that, man. I really do.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go back in the house.
Smooth, man, always.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna read tonight too, a little bit more than I did last episode. I have one that is called a 68 syllable summary. How unfortunate to realize what you are is so unattractive. You did disappoint, yes, just as you promised me, with each mixed signal, making decisions for me when that privilege was never offered. Your presumptions show you don't understand, and I know this is goodbye. The end of that.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Really, really solid, right?
I like ones when there's a lot of meaning in a few words.
Very nice.
Good.
I always enjoy hearing your work, Skaja. Always.
Thank you. John, your turn.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm glad to be tagged in to the match here. I get the hot tag. Jake knows what I mean.
Time to run wild.
I'm not the best reader. I haven't had enough tune-in juice yet, but I'm going to read one that I actually wrote today.
All you got to do is say your prayers, take your vitamins, and I can't remember the third one there.
I don't know.
Drink your milk.
I never was a Hulk Hogan mark.
Neither was I. Hey, John, I'm sorry to cut you off. I told you about the worst Christmas I ever had back when I was about 6 years old. I got about 5 Hulk Hogan action figures, and to me, he was the worst human being ever back then.
Yeah. I was never a fan. See, now we're going to get on a tangent. I have to watch it because me and Jake are wrestling marks.
Yeah, you go and read. I'm gonna sit here and shut my mouth. I apologize.
I'm gonna read. John. Just kind of get in the groove. This is all stuff I wrote today. So it's woke up and wrote, first thing I wrote, and I kind of had this that grogginess when you wake up. It's called "I'll replace the windows and clean the interior to give it that new car scent. We can depart in the facade to pretend we did not just endure a storm together. Then simply ignore the call, as we say nothing to in turn speak droves to the coldness of so-called modernist society, to just roll the dice upon another's lone chance. Coffee and false smiles, a stray glance, a chance encounter, as our eyes meet in the now guise of strangers. While we pretend to get blind, while we pretend to be blind to what fury much was. You never had to say a word, sweetheart. Ice formed silently through an old winter's night. I knew it was too good to be true from the start. Still in the throes of passion, I entertained hope. Broken is more than glass into fragments. In building this bastard, that is. You know, there is a constant truth to old lines. As you vanish off with another, Rome truly was not built within a day. That's the end of that, and I fucked it all up. So there you go, kids. That's what you do. Don't rehearse, drink lots of alcohol, and you will crash right into the ground.
Wow.
That's
deep, John.
Entertain hope is a beautiful line.
Very, very deep, man.
You know what? I had just written that and it didn't, I screwed that one up. But hey, I mean, Michael came on here. It's like you got a double dose of sexiness. You got Michael on here and Jake. It threw me off. What can I say, man?
Yeah.
You guys,
one big family.
Damn it.
You will find your groove, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Is it? I guess it's my turn.
It's your turn now, Michael.
Yes, I'm dropping the ball and posted. Yes, Michael, please read another one.
Thank you so much. This next piece is titled "Albert Camus, Sisyphus, a constant struggle in my mind." It requires just a brief intro. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus was condemned by the gods to an eternal punishment for his deceit. His fate was to endlessly roll the boulder up a hill, only to watch it roll back down each time he neared the summit. In 1942, French philosopher Albert Camus, in his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, reinterpreted this tale as a metaphor for the human condition, seeing in Sisyphus his endless struggle, a reflection of our own persistent efforts in the face of life's inherent absurdity. So this poem that I'm going to share, this poem, in my mind, draws a parallel between Sisyphus' plight and the daily challenges of living with mental illness. It explores, like Sisyphus, how we can transform this persistent struggle has sometimes seemed so daunting into something of strength and purpose. So here we go. I read the words of Albert Camus last night. My mind became the heel of Sisyphus. Thoughts, the boulder I eternally pushed upward, straining, gasping for breath until I collapse, crushed by the weight of a mind that does not love me. Dawn breaks, and like Sisyphus, I rise. Tornadoes and hurricanes rage in my head. The chatter within is not gentle, not warm. It does not soothe, does not embrace, but screams and claws relentlessly harsh. As I struggle to understand why my mind does not love me, I read the words of Albert Camus last night. Learn to revolt, as Sisyphus must have, not seeking escape, but meaning in repetition, in daily struggles with a mind that does not love me. Cut goes the boulder of my trouble. Down it crashes. Sisyphus's familiar descent. In this fall, I am most aware, most alive, consciousness, my curse and my blessing. I read the words of Albert Camus last night. This ceaseless task reshapes my pain, transforming struggle into insight, anguish into art, finding fragments of joy in a mind that does not love me. The universe, indifferent as Sisyphus's gods, yet I persist, propelled by an indomitable will, embracing chaos. I choose to be free, accepting the absurd of my reality. I read the words of Albert Camus last night, saw my Sisyphine burden in a new light, not happy despite but because of this fate. In this awareness, I create my own meaning. So I climb again and again and again and again. Sisyphus reborn, finding purpose in this mental refrain. For in this struggle with the mind that does not love me, I forge my path, turning darkness into dawn. I read the words of Albert Camus last night. Afterward, I could not sleep. Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
That's a killer finish. Those last lines really, that's killer.
Yeah, man.
Well,
kicking some ass, dude.
When you live with a mind that doesn't love you, that's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake?
This poem is titled Leaving Connecticut. Leaving Connecticut. I haven't worn a watch since the summer of 2004, when I tossed it on my bed, walking out the door in the early pre-dawn haze, a full tank of gas, and empty highway. It's a long way to California, but I got the time. That's a poem I wrote about my first road trip.
Yeah, quick and slick, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Damn good, brother.
You man.
Thank you.
That's my turn.
Yes.
This one is called The Socially Acceptable Real Answer. Are you okay? That question is complicated, loaded with anxiety, anger, sadness, longing. I can say yes to be socially acceptable. Most don't want to know the answer. Others want the gossip-filled morsels. Few want the truth. How my eyes burn from the tears and the unsteadiness creeps into my voice. Feeling like I just did something mortifying under spotlight when what's actually happening is me struggling to answer a 3-word question. How are you? Just as loaded, just as complicated, just as much me caught under a spotlight to answer a question without feeling like I'm breaking down into tiny, unimaginable shards of glass, threatening to slice me into ribbons, spilling my secrets like a puddle of sticky blood on the ground, mixing with the mud. Even if I hadn't answered prepared, where would I start? How would I gauge if you could hold what I give you, when the heaviness crushed you, as it crushes me to have lived the experience? Would you bail, like I expect you to, like anyone else, everyone else, leaving me wishing again that I'd kept my mouth shut, my mask in place, hiding the imperfections that define my humanity? The end of that.
All right. Well, they'll have to go all right after everything. I don't know, it's kind of a bad habit. It's like, yeah, far out, man.
Yeah, and that one is, anybody who lives with social anxiety or any sort of neurodivergency that just makes it hard to answer the simple questions. And so much of society is just like, how are you? I'm awesome. Great. And then you just move on. But no one really wants to know. And the people who want to know, it's hard to answer that question. Like I had someone ask me once, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. No, really, are you okay? And the second time they ask that, it's just like the floodgates. So I'm going to speculate and say that we all have maybe felt that way.
Oh yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very much so. I feel that way right now.
There you go.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I feel
you're kicking ass, man, as far as reading goes.
Maybe kidding, maybe not. Go ahead.
You and Jake got it going on me. I'm like, meow. I'm like that fly that hits a bug that hits the, as the Brits would call it, the windscreen. Better known as a windshield. Just so I can piss off the European audience, too. I'm not rowdy enough. That's a problem. They need to mandatorily just give me an IV of Jack Daniels. And
Evan Williams is not a bad drink itself. I
don't drink Jack Daniels anyways, man, to be honest with you. So, yeah, Evan Williams, I've had more than Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I remember my cousin years ago. Well, he's an older cousin. He bought me this giant jug of Jack Daniels, and that wasn't my drink, but it made for good parties. Like I could hand it out, and everybody was pretty cool with it.
Yeah, I'd imagine. That's a good way to let all kids know how, if you can get a bottle of alcohol, just hand it around to your friends who are underage as well, and you'll be the life of the party. That's what we encourage on here, underage drinking.
Yeah, we're certainly not contributing to the legacy of anybody.
Hey, I can say whatever I want. I don't care. I get in trouble all the time. That's what I'm known for. Anyways, now I'm going to tag myself in. John, would you like to read? Why, thank you, John. I think I will. This one's called, well, thank you, Skaja. And Skaja, too. I love all the voices on here. Besides the ones in my head, it's like 1,000 people. This is called Dog Park. I question why some flea-ridden bastard needs his own designated zone to sniff fellow canine asses and piss on everything within sight. Then again, drunks have bars and alleys to fucking vomit in. So I digress. Cilantro. There you go. See, now, the dumb ones I can get right. There you go. Bravo to me. Wow. Thank you.
Hey, man, you rolled through that so quick. It was like the meat without the potatoes. Do you want to read it again?
No, actually I don't.
Okay. No, this is not a moment of like read that one again, because that was like, that was a weird experience reading the same poem twice.
Everybody's hitting on all cylinders, and when everybody's firing on all cylinders, Jake and Michael, you definitely know. You've done a lot of open mics. When everybody's firing on all cylinders and you're not, I'm kind of like, done. Okay, I got that one. Okay, next one.
Yeah, I never read in public until I did Michael's show for the first time.
That was the first time?
Yes, and it was really just kind of
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're talking about writing, right?
I didn't read my writing really anywhere, and certainly not in a public forum like podcast. Until Michael's show, and so that was a new experience. I unlocked an achievement badge there, and it's got a little easier, but it's still
yes. Well, that makes me smile. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your work on there, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. It's not easy.
It's intimidating as hell going there for the first time.
And any time if you're used to like just writing the words but not speaking them, then you're trying to read your work, and it's like I can't imagine. I've done Twitter. I've never been to an open mic either, where you go up in front of everybody who's there, and there's no redos and no start over without just like I don't know, internally feeling like I suck at this and I don't want to do it anymore. And then I'm not a performance person. And it's a new thing to me, which is weird coming from family musicians. So.
Mm-hmm. And Jake, Skaja's show on my podcast was chosen as the staff selection of the New York Podcast Association, Worldwide Podcast Association. That may not be the title, but they chose her episode, man. So people liked her work.
That's fantastic.
All right. Yeah. Well, Michael, man, it's on to you, man. Let's just hear your next one.
All right, good buddy. This was written probably 25 years ago. It was in my first book. So, Jake, Skaja, and John, it's a crime to feel so blue. It's a crime to feel so blue. Although I like the hue of blue as a color of ink in a pen. A fountain pen, to be exact, one that glides gracefully across the page with certainty and purpose. Yet today, there is no pen. Just the color blue, and the blue stain alone doesn't glide so easily. Their jagged edges and crevices that hide years of despair. It's a crime to feel so blue. Although I like the hue of blue as a color of a suit, double-breasted, if you will. Sleek, secure, strong, but I'm not wearing a suit today, just the color blue. And on me, blue alone doesn't look or feel as well. It hangs, and it sags, and it weighs me down like an elevator carrying a heavy load. It's a crime to feel so blue. Although I like the hue of blue in the summertime, as a backdrop for the sky. Then its resplendent colors highlight the white puffs of cotton that speckle the horizon. Yet it's wintertime, and the cerulean skies have gone, and what remains is just the color blue, now a melancholy shade that does nothing but remind me of the severity of my discontent. It's a crime to feel so blue. If you might judge, either convict me or set me free.
Yeah. I was getting a Blue Train feeling on that.
Really?
Yeah. I was feeling some jazz coming out of there. I had Coltrane. Couldn't remember if it was Coltrane or Miles Davis, but I got Blue Train on all the time. And when you were reading that, I was like, that's the vibe right there. That's what I was feeling, man.
Well, Coltrane is from my hometown, Jake.
Yeah.
I told John that. In High Point, North Carolina, that's where he started. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that area. Yeah, man. And there's a festival there every summer. Coltrane Festival. John Coltrane Festival. In the summertime. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Well,
that's awesome.
The repetition of the blue and everything, like I was getting horn behind it. It was killer. I really like that, man.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, really great reading style, man. I really enjoy. I enjoy your work. Just how you deliver is really good. That's something like, I'm just like cut some jokes in between and get through everything as quick as I can usually.
Well, see, for me, what I'd like to find out is if Yeah, I can read it, but I want the words to stand up on the page too. And you guys, you know this stuff. I don't. So that's my chore to figure out how to do that. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I can read it, but I want the words, if I'm
you
not
already
there,
do,
to stand up on the page too.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
When I was listening to you read it, it's like just the repetitive of the word blue reminds me of this bit by Comic Hannah Gadsby where she's talking about blue, how the word changes depending on the context. Like, blue skies ahead is things are happy, or like, blue something. It's like, it's one of those words that has myriad meanings depending on its context. Yeah. And I like work that kind of ties into other experiences that I've had, so that it makes it this richer thing.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, I guess we're gonna, I'll be, all of you are kicking ass, so you're annoying me. So.
Wow. No, give Jake another opportunity.
No, I'll just do the pat. It's like, okay, next. No, it's Jake, go ahead, man, and read us another, brother.
All right. I'm going to. Oh man, I'm going to read a poem. All right. This poem is from Lost City Highway. It's titled "Looking for Sunflowers." It was a title poem in one of my chapbooks. Looking for sunflowers. The tapestry of night, pinned by stars to the walls, turns in our sleep. The sidewalks tremble, narrow roads converge, street lamps shadow the homeless and the late going home. The alabaster groaning in moonlight, the neon slashes down faded alleys. Lost saints wander the face of the city, not wanting to be found. Sirens peek around corners, blue and red echo off brick. Smoking philosophers scatting in doorways, rush of trains over the tide. The rain drops tiptoe around conversations before drowning in daylight. That's Looking for Sunflowers from Lost City Highway.
Looking for sunflowers. I like it. Beautiful.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You always know that hit, man. That's it's an impressive skill. Both of you, man. Well, all of you, really. You all have original voices. I can say that. Definitely. That's one thing I do know about is writing as an editor. I could say my own scribbling, but yeah, really dug that, man. Really dug that. Sky, do you have a poem for us now?
Oh, yeah. It's called.
Isn't it fun when people keep saying, you read now?
Yeah, I have, and this one's called, We All Just Want to Belong. Sometimes I want to test a theory. If I stepped away, lived my life, would anyone notice I was gone? It hurts when you realize you don't matter to those who matter to you. End of that.
Oh, I like that. Quick and slick. Sometimes I think that's the best way with any poem. The economy of words. That's one thing I really admire with quite a few poets. Just how to.
Wow. When you feel like you don't matter. Wow.
Jake left us, but we got him back.
I'm here. I don't know what the hell's happening.
I'm gonna have to tie him to his chair.
He teleports. I'm telling you, he has powers. You're basically in the stratosphere of Jake, man. He's on a long, strange trip, man.
It's a cosmic situation we got going on, man. It's like the ebb and flow.
Yeah, there you go.
That's pretty cool. So,
what were you gonna say, man?
I've got Jen Knickerbocker in the room right now.
Yes.
All right.
She might be ready to read a poem from any choice of the books or stacks that I have in front of me.
Okay. Go ahead. Great.
Do you want to read
Yeah,
one from our book?
Welcome.
Their choice, maybe.
Hello,
Welcome.
Jen.
Hi, how is everybody?
All right.
Welcome.
Great.
She's got lip sleeve scars from Whiskey City.
Okay. Read whatever you want. We're glad to have you on the show.
Did you read from this yet?
I haven't, no.
Okay. I'm on the spot here. Hold on. All right. This one is called Hope.
Okay. And they vanished. So I guess we'll talk until they reappear. And now they're literally gone.
They come back. All right.
Okay.
Yay, technology.
Just a little levity. Little.
Sky, can you add? Well, you don't have them, so okay. I'm gonna try to add them. Okay. And we will see as we have a little minor technicality. I don't want anybody to start reading, because if we do that, then we might. You never know. Okay, here we go. We'll add them again. And there you go, folks. This is how professional we are. Work on the fly. That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
And they are back.
We're back.
All right. Hello.
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 Let's try this again.
There we go.
We can hear you.
All right, we back?
Yes, you're all right. You're live. You got the mic.
All right, let's try this again. This one is called Hope. The fire burns my thoughts, reducing me to ash. A rush of air sends cinders wild, as my mind tends to be these days. But here I sit, boots in dirt, head in hands, alone and forgotten. The single teardrop making its way down my cheek carves a path through debris, as I hope for some clarity to reach my mind and ease my eyes. The agony is suffocating. I take a swig, swallowing the pain. For tonight, I relinquish myself to the flames.
Nice.
Right, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
relinquish yourself to the flames.
Yeah. Do you want to read us another? Because you haven't on here. Everybody's read, quite a few.
Oh goodness. All right. All right. Let's see. Just hand me a different. I'm not used to reading these ones. This will be me reading you.
Yeah.
Goodness. What, did you read out of this yet?
Well, some, but whatever.
To put it in perspective, I just put our youngest to bed, so I'm just totally out of the spot here. Hold on, let me find something.
No, hey, this show is relaxed, so don't worry about anything. Just
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Titles. Oh, you find a different one.
Just go for it. Grab the page. Go.
All right. Meditation at Daybreak. Have you read this?
No.
Okay. I don't know that I've ever read this one before, so we're winging this. All right. Meditation at Daybreak. Here I am, walking these uneven sidewalks of my neighborhood in the tossed shadows of seaside morning, trying to clear my head of all the ramble that bounces around like the few remaining sailboats anchored just offshore. And the sun has grown tired of holding long hours, and the air cool off the water. Cars coming and going in the great void of American living. The too blue sky above, empty of the clouds, and feelings and all things are beautiful. In that tired old sunlight that begins to wither like the wildflowers that line the road.
That's from Lost City Highway.
Wow.
All right.
It's interesting.
Excellent.
It's interesting reading the poem rather than listening to it, because I've heard that quite a few times, but I've never read that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoy hearing you read.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Michael, would you like to read us another?
We did not get to you, John. It is your
Yes,
turn.
John.
No,
Come
I
on, man.
know.
Yeah,
I've turned into the host. The host with the
Yeah,
most.
I was wondering about that. You're co-hosting over me.
Well, you know, I co-producer, showrunner. I do the light fixtures. I clean the trash can. I mean, I do everything. I'm like the multitask. I'm like Batman, but I'm more like a janitor. I mean, he has a tool belt. Same thing.
Share another poem, John. Share another poem, man. My brother. Share another poem.
My God. Okay, I'm gonna read you one that was from it was supposed to be a split chap that didn't come out. Not this one that's currently out. There's one that we were kind of working on and, we just abandoned. I don't know why, but you know, it happens. So, I'm going to try to read this as a deeper cut. It's called, One Day I'll Leave This City. Walking right past the junkies as I may hand a hardship case a few bucks I don't have. Just trapped living in the street. Light of smoke as I wait at the station. To look at the horizon void of skyscrapers that choke out the backdrop, encased in a sea of smog. I will move on past the scars, the track marks. Push one last fix in the restroom to either die on the throne or sweating it out with strangers listening to the bus's hum as we get lost together. Maybe I'll find happiness, but most likely I'll just find one more vacant space minus dirty alleys and new troubles mired by different faces taking up various roles. As I run away to another backdrop, a dragon in semi-dead pursuit. Maybe I'll make my way back to another dingy city, to freeze in the throes of withdrawals in some vacant building's doorway, to have another never throw me some change and tell me good luck as I view him in the sadness of a ghost of my once former self, thinking you too, kid. Sometimes you must truly live to inevitably crash and burn. That's the end of that one. Oh yeah, well that's a happy one.
Oh,
That
reminds me of the 1940s, man. I like that. I could see it. It's almost like a movie.
Yeah. Well, what was that, Jake?
Very nice. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that was a powerful poem.
It was.
Yeah, that was like the centerpiece of a book that was being done, and then it just kind of all, like anything, you know, projects sometimes
fall through,
you know, fall apart or for whatever reason. So yeah, that was the strongest one.
I told Jen halfway through that, I said, "This is a badass poem."
It is. I don't smoke, but it made me want to smoke a cigarette, man. Take a drink.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try to write visually. That's just me, man. I always try to write visually.
Yeah. I have a question then. So you said that's the sort of a split chap that didn't happen. Do any of you take work from projects that didn't quite make a cut for that project and put them in other collections, or once you cut them, they don't get used anywhere?
I use poems all the time. If it's part of a project that doesn't get off the ground, if it's part of a project that doesn't get off the ground and publisher and I have talked about it, then yeah, I'll pull it. But unless I hear, like, everybody needs some time. So unless I'm hearing from the publisher telling me that it's off the table, then it's off the table. But even when I put chapbooks together, and I've always kind of thought it was fun to take one or two poems from a previous chapbook and put it in with the next chapbook, kind of like a continuation in a way. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I've tried to connect poems by reusing here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. It does happen. I mean, that book in particular was done. It's just, I don't know. It just wasn't working. So we ended up with the other book that's currently out now. And I'm not saying they won't ever see the light of day, but that poem in particular was real strong. And then the other things I had around it were, it just wasn't hitting. That was firing on all cylinders, but that was it. That was the one that was really kicking ass. And it's like, okay, man, you can't, you have to kind of, I don't know.
You can't
Anyways,
force.
well, yeah, no, that's a standalone thing, and it's a standalone poem. So, and maybe someday I'll use it somewhere. Who knows? I use it here. Anyways, Michael, man, yeah, let's hear another.
All right, this one is kind of jazzy, I guess. The title is A Little Billy in the Morning. In the quiet of morning, as the aroma of coffee has changed through the air, I find solace in the company of a little Billie Holiday. She, like the coffee I sip, is naturally low in calories and devoid of trans fat, a refreshing departure from the mundane choices of sugar or cream. The essence of Billie is a melodic undertone to the day, a fine and mellow taste that complements the rich notes of the jazz she brought to life. Yet the bittersweet echoes linger, reminiscent of the haunting imagery of strange fruit hanging sadly on the black-colored dark green leaves in the Mississippi breeze. Choosing Billy over sugar or cream is a deliberate act, a conscious decision to embrace the raw, unfiltered emotion that she encapsulates. Each sip resonates with the jazzy rhythm of her voice, creating a symphony of flavors that mirrors the complexity of life. As I savor each moment, I acknowledge that this choice is not just about coffee. It's a prelude to the day ahead. There's an intuition that today might unfold with a certain bitterness. But in this subtle embrace of Billy's presence, I find strength to face whatever challenges may come. So my morning cup of coffee becomes a ritual, a fusion of sensory experiences and emotional preparation. With Billy as my companion, I navigate the day with a little more grace, a touch more resilience, and the assurance that even in the midst of bitterness, there is a melody that carries me through, because I can already tell it's going to be a bad day. Thank you.
Excellent, man. That was really awesome. Yeah, that had a really cool vibe
really
to it,
like
man.
it.
I loved it. Yeah, I love it. Love that poem. Excellent.
Killer last line again.
All right. I like Billie Holiday. I love her music.
Billie Holiday's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about somebody who went to pure hell, man. Lived her art.
Yeah, she
just,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she definitely, talking about somebody had a backbone. She was, to keep going. I mean, yeah, she's awesome. Excellent. So, yeah, man, dug that a lot. That was killer.
Yeah, well done, man.
Well, Jake, man, I think it's on to you, man.
All right. My son asked me to read this poem. This poem is Satori. It's got, back in New London, we used to say that this poem had the greatest typo ever because there is a line in it, and it read, at the time when I was young and when the poem got published originally in a journal, young the NG got dropped to when I was you. And just those two letters leaving the poem changed it for the better. It's my favorite typo. So anyway, this poem is titled Satori. Satori. Woke up and got drunk. Found my way to the streets and tripped along the tracks. Past the cafe I read poetry at when I was you. And nothing was empty. in the car, in the street, and horns and disruption. $2 in my pocket, enough for black coffee and the paper. It's full of news I can get for free, with my eyes open and my ears to the ground. And somewhere on a television, the State of the Union is being read. And I did not listen. I did not listen. I did not listen. That's Satori from Lost City Highways.
Oh,
I like that one.
That's great.
Really good night, man.
Did not listen. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like the emphasis at the end, man. I like that.
The poem was recorded for a country album, and when I heard the version, it was totally different because I wrote it on a weekend morning on a New London sidewalk downtown, and then when I heard the poem put to music, it took me out to the desert. So it's one of those things to me that kind of transcends and goes this way and that way, all different ways down the track. So it's one of my poems I enjoy reading.
Yeah, in my mind, you brought it to life at the end, man.
Thank you.
Because I believe with poetry, you should live it. And that's what I felt with your poem, that you were living it. I like that.
Yeah, I remember writing that poem outside Muddy Waters Cafe. I think it was a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, 2:00 or something like that. But I remember writing that one years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Excellent right, man. Excellent right.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Skaja, are you ready to read us another?
Yeah, I can do another. This one's from my book, The Sensio Veritatis. It is called Wallowing. Carrying remnants of a former life, like rocks in pockets, weighed down. It gets harder to move, slogging through the mud. One moment it's fine. The next, it's 2 hours looking at your replacement, deluding yourself that you don't hurt anymore, feeling stupidly ridiculous the entire time. Wounds like never healing nicks, blood trickling out keeping you weak. A life raft on the treacherous sea, taking on water while slowly losing air. How long until you sink? End of that.
How long can you sleep?
Yeah, what'd you say, Michael?
No, just reflecting in my mind on what she shares. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good writes, Skaja.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Yeah, Skaja, what were the last two lines in that poem? Read them again for me.
The last two lines. Taking on water while slowly losing air. How long until you sink?
I like that. That's a nice finish to it.
Thank you.
That was damn good. John, would you like to read one? Yes, I'm actually going to go way back to a book that I said I would never read from a fucking asshole publisher. You? No, not me, John. I love talking to myself. I have, I do this all the time in stores. Guy goes around with me and keeps it wide distance as people,
I run interference for him and say it's fine. He's fine. So he's not dangerous to anybody else.
He is just a writer. It's normal. Oh, okay. No, he's been eating paint chips for a long time, so he's got some issues. Anyways, it's a very old poem, but I've always liked it. It's a real quick one. It's called A View from the Stars. Ooze is a familiar lover. I have embraced her for more than a few years. I've kept my foot on the gas pedal for so long that if I backed off, I'd probably drop dead where I stand. Poison in my veins has replaced my blood, and every step forward is one further away from everything I once held true. A view from the stars is a lonely one indeed. The end of that one.
I like that one.
Oh, it's nice too. Wow.
Yeah.
Great poetry tonight. Really.
It is.
I'm glad I
This is
was
a
able
lot
to
of
come.
fun.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy this show.
Yeah.
This is when I get to, I
see
also
why.
like to call this show Drinking with Poets.
Right.
Michael, or I like to call it a host wars, because I'm so used to being the host. But Sky's having fun, and I know she gets aggravated when I ask her to read, so I'm having a lot of fun. It's time for another round. Let's hear your poetry.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, you're the only Michael on the show.
All right. This is a relatively quick one.
He's still so used to being the host and not the reader that it's taken him a minute.
It's true. That's why I'm loving this. This is titled
This
The
is
Murder
great.
and the Resurrection. My life unraveled tonight, falling apart amongst the threads of sorrow. Grief, my only friend, stood silently beside me, echoing my loss. I was suffocated by the solitude. A chilling question whispered in the void, what dawn awaits this broken shell? Grief, still reeling from the shock, offered no solace. Its voice choked by the shared pain, despite the stillness. A glimmer of understanding appeared. The ashes of the past could be the beginning of a new dawn, one adorned with quiet hues of acceptance and gentle strength. For opportunities vanish like whispers in the wind. Seize them, for they become echoes. Thank you.
I like that.
Oh, excellent, man.
There's like a time limit
why'd
to
you
that
have to be
too.
so damn good, Michael?
Like,
Well, there's got to be somebody.
I love that echoes.
Wow. I love it now. Now you're become the comedian. It's like, now I can have revenge on you, John. I can be a smart ass just like you. I've been on your show the most, though. I have that honor that nobody else has. So now to all you guests. I'm just saying. I mean, some of you have been on the most highest rated episode, but I mean, I've been on the most. So Michael, he has to get rid of me somehow.
I mean, is it really a competition though?
No, we're all family.
No, because I've been on the most. I win. I mean, like, duh.
That is true. He's been on there more than anybody in the universe.
Yeah, I don't have enough books yet, but give me a couple years.
I don't have a couple years. My liver can't hold out much longer. Jeez, I'm going to need a new one. So if anybody listens to the show and just needs to, wants to donate one, or, hey, feel free. You don't need that. I do. I can get a lot of use out of that. I can get use out of it for poetry. So it's a sacrifice for a good reason. Jake, read another, man.
All right. I'm going to read a Todd Cirillo poem, if that's cool, from Disposable Darlings. I got a stack of books and some poems out here, but I've been flipping through Todd's latest book. It's pretty badass poetry.
That sounded wrong. Pretty bad.
It did. I didn't.
Even he laughed at that one. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it was pretty badass, and then I was like, well, how can I say it without saying badass? But
you can cuss on here. We're not monetized.
I mean, I love. It's no secret. Todd Cirillo is one of my favorite poets. I've said time and time again, the guy, he writes poems that I like to read. This is from Disposable Darlings, Todd Cirillo, from, I believe Roadside Press, Disposable Darlings. Yep. This is Todd's poem, The Poet versus the Artists. Here I am, sitting in a mansion, surrounded by true artists, well-known musicians, actors, geniuses, even a world-renowned doctor. They're collaborating, creating, working off one another. They sing, play guitar, improvise stories, offer suggestions and critiques. I watch their fingers move with such grace and natural ability up and down the neck of the guitar like tiny waves, or snapping in perfect time to the beat, holding a pen just right so the words fill this entire room. They're the smooth hands of the artist. I listen and stare, nodding my head each time someone looks my way, feigning understanding of their magic, running my fingers over the cuts on my busted knuckles and scarred left hand, wondering how it comes so easily to them. And is the beer free? There's been people sitting in this room for over 150 years trying to get something out of these moments. Could be love, could be laughter, affection, or affirmation from an audience or a stranger, a quick glance. We will remember for a lifetime to hum the tune we heard, or laugh at the story we listened to, or get a number from someone way out of our league, or perhaps even just something to write about. A good song can be created spontaneously by musicians, but a good poem can never be constructed on the spot. The poet can only get inspired with maybe a decent line or two, but then must crawl off like a dying animal to craft the poem alone. This is why in poetry there are no Lennon and McCartneys, Page and Plant, or Jagger or Richards. Creating a poem is like magic. The secret is in tricking people into wondering how you did it. So I will just sit back, finish this beer, order another, to see if I get a bill, and think of a famous song sung by famous artists that said, all you need is love. If that's all I get out of this, that's good enough for me. Maybe even good enough to head home alone and get a poem out of it. That's Todd Cirillo, Disposable Darlings, Roadside Press.
Like Todd.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, it really was.
Todd's fantastic.
By the way, all the other things that have been read here are from Whiskey City Press. So
They are.
I just thought I would have mentioned that. Oh my God. The greatest press on earth, known to man. God loves our press, so now not everybody can suck it. I'm just saying. No. Yeah, Todd knows how to poem. He always has. And I've always told him I love Sucker's Paradise. That's my favorite book of his. I just think that book, you have that book.
Burning the Evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Burning the Evidence is good. Another kick-ass poet is Bretton Booth down in Australia.
Oh yes, yep.
He's
Brenton
fantastic.
Bretton Booth is a killer. And if people have, and you kind of have to read him if you're into the scene.
Yeah.
If you haven't read him, absolutely exquisite. I was happy to give him his first nomination for the Best of the Net. I don't know what that just shows me the absolute. And I'm going to piss off everybody because that's what I do. The stupidity of editors. Because if you haven't nominated that guy, it's just like Todd. Todd's a hell of a writer. He's a killer as well. But Brenton, absolutely dig him. Love his work.
I forgot what the I can't remember the name. It's the book with the brick, the stone wall cover, with the graffiti on it, and I wanted to read Brenton's book. He posted something online, and I was like, I got to go back and read it. And I had all my books in bins. So I just went online. I was like, I'm buying a second copy of this book because it'll arrive before I can find it. And the book arrived, and I read it cover to cover. Mm-hmm. And the day that I finished rereading it, I found my original copy in a bin. So we have multiple Bretton Booth books in the house. But that guy is if he ever listens to this, because he seems to be on and off social media, active here and there. But man, yeah, Bretton Booth is.
Yeah. We'd love to have him on the show. No, that's an open invitation, and that goes for most people that there's some that won't come on. I don't know why. They're a little scared, but I mean, if you're scared to have a good time, shame on you. That's all I'm going to say, because I mean, I'm the sobriety one. Skaja is the wild one. I mean, 2 cases of wild turkey. I mean, Jesus Christ, she's just hard to maintain. You are. I'm not saying you're a diva, but.
Well, John and I talk fairly often, so he's very much aware of his kind of my volatility.
And Skaja is very much aware of to always when John has a secret code word to call my call the bail bondsman, because that means not 911. No, we're far beyond that.
Okay. A wellness check.
But I'm having a blast. I hope everybody else is. And now comes the fun part. Skaja, would you like to read from your book that I can't pronounce the name of? I published it, but I don't have to pronounce the name of it because I published it. I hit the publish button. That's what, yeah. So don't mess with me because I hit the publish button. I have the power.
Wow.
Whatever.
I keep my thoughts to myself.
I created the cover. I know that. I can spell it right. That's amazing in itself. He's like, he can't even spell his own name correctly, but he can spell his thing in Latin. So.
Yeah, it is a stunning cover. The first time that I saw it, I was just blown away. And
yes.
John,
thank you. Tell me how great I am. I love hearing that.
Fantastic
Michael knows
cover.
this. We all know this.
You know you're a fantastic cover designer.
You did the cover, John?
John did the cover.
I do the cover for most of the books. I've done for Night Full of Diamonds, which is another actual book by Whiskey City Press. So I love to do the plugs. And of course, Jen and Jake's book that I did the cover. I love how I'm starting to mess up everything, but yeah, I've done the cover for quite a few all of Kevin's books. So yeah.
I just pulled it up again. I have a copy.
We've talked about my second book, and I threw out a proposed title, and John's like, please not. How am I going to come up with a cover for that?
Yeah, no. Yeah, John will hit you with the stick of caring if you give me a title that's too big to publish. Anyway, read us another.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm gonna be momentarily contrary and read something that's not been published, and it does not have a title yet. I'm going to speculate that speaking for a lot of writers, that sometimes you go through ebbs and flows and the words just don't come, and that's been me lately. And so I'm just writing down the words when they come and figure out titles later. So this one does not have a title yet, and it goes like this. Sometimes I wonder if the entity that is you and me can transcend crippling insecurities that were unlovable misfits, unwanted for our tattered souls. So resigned to the hellscape that we're better off alone, because who could ever love someone so wretchedly twisted and windblown? Walled up hearts, too raw and fractured to bear opening up, too vulnerable to face the sun. I whisper marry me in the still darkness as you hold me closer, knowing you don't hear me. And the future is something I am reluctant to bring up because I don't want to hear you say no. It feeds the insecurity that screams in my ear that you don't care about me. Let me dream a little longer before the harsh, cold morning leaves me to shiver. The end of that.
Sure. I love the work. Really do.
Thank you.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. That was a good one. It needs a title though. That usually helps. That always helps. I always love Please, people out there, don't send me work without titles. Some people like me. You can just title my work. I'm like, yes, in all my free time. And that's why I want to chew through my own wrist.
I had someone send me at work too and said, "Hey, you can just come up with a title for this," and I'm like, "No, it's not my job." It's for anybody who doesn't know. John, all the magazines. I have my own magazines that I frequently complain to John about how people submit stuff and not follow the guidelines.
You need more magazines. You need 100 like I have. I write every magazine. But John, what magazine do you not edit? I edit them all.
Okay, true story. Like, I just one day at random, downtime at work, why don't I start a magazine? And thus the start of the universe was born. And within a week, I was like, what if I just do a podcast? And like, nixed that idea really fast because how much room in my full life do I have? And then last week, it's like, hey, Skaja, could you host this for us? And that's something I'm a podcast host.
Yeah, you host on the fly. Yes. Even though technically the podcast, believe it or not, it already had a page for a couple of years. We just never had an episode. People are like, wow, John, you're very consistent. And I'm like, thank you. Just like waiting for a print issue of anything I do. If you're waiting for a print issue, you wait 5 years. And eventually it'll arrive and you'll be like, this is what we waited for? I'm like, tough luck.
It'll just be a surprise one day.
Yes, it's a blessing.
All I have to say is that if you have a brilliant idea, it's better to nail down the socials and all that before someone else takes it. So.
No, that's right. All right,
John, would you like to read another piece?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Like I said, I was going to, if somebody checked their messages, they would understand, like, yeah, I'm bombing, so I'll just host and you can read because you all are kicking ass. I'm going to read a very beautiful one. And this is very deep. And I know it's going to bring tears. So we have lots of, we're cheap. We don't have tissues. We have toilet paper. It's the same thing. I mean, it's multi-use and it's 2-ply. We don't buy the cheap shit here. So this is a little ditty called Why Dear Whiskey. Did they infuse you with peaches and other fruity shit to put you in commercials with douchebag celebrities when you could have opted for obscure writers who have sacrificed their livers for you? You heartless bitch, you. No wonder I desire you night and day, as even my dreams are far from a dry county. I would never betray you and allow that cunt fireball to tarnish your name, that cinnamon-flavored kerosene strumpet. Yet you've not once ever looked my way or even thrown me a free bottle. But you most certainly have destroyed some relationships, led me to some poor life choices, and didn't say shit when that house came out of nowhere while I was off-roading. I'm not bitter, my dear, just momentarily upset. So why don't we put on some music? We can maybe watch a film, pass out on the floor, maybe even vomit on my asshole neighbor's dog again. Drunk dial some people. I do not know. Maybe even borrow someone's credit card, order an escort and a pizza. Hell, have a 3-way for 6 months in a row. You know how I love pizza. And no, that new half-gallon bottle doesn't make you look fat. Your Canadian Miss Cousin is just jealous because she is, well, Canadian. I mean, when your biggest export is cold weather and Nickelback, I digress. I know I had a little tryst with absinthe in France or Indiana through the summer. Really, what's the difference? You seen one cornfield strewn with dead bodies and chainsaws going off in the background? You've seen them all, but enough with the foreplay, my darling. Stop with all the infusion-flavored yuppie bullshit. Be you, girl. I mean, who needs celebrities and TikTok or a driver's license? I mean, bicycles are all electric now, and who doesn't love pedaling their ass around town? I mean, not me, because I'm allergic to outside air and would burst into flames in daylight because I'm a 12-million-year-old vampire who doesn't look a day over the Iron Age. Why, dear whiskey, you must try hard to gain new lovers. My dear, when you forever have me. This poem, brought to you by people who enjoy binge drinking and pissing on other people's lawns. Cha-cha-cha. Thank you. That's the end of that one.
I love that one.
Wonderful. I'm still stuck on the word strumpet. I don't know if I've ever heard that.
I have heard
You haven't heard that one? That's an old one.
Not used.
No, a
That's an old
strumpet. A
word.
strumpet.
Strumpet, yeah.
Oh,
Strumpet,
you were
wow.
running all syllables again, man. You were cooking with gas when you put that in there.
Wow. Now that one I nailed. So you give me crazy and vulgar and I can just, bam, I've become like fucking Shakespeare, kids. Jake knows this. He's teaching, never mind. He knows all about, education. He gets it. He gets this deep intellectual shit that I do. I have to be careful not to say certain things. Well, folks, I would, do we want to do one more round or not? It's up to everybody else.
I think Jen wanted to read one more.
No.
Wow, we could all hear that. Like, no.
Thanks for volunteering.
The backstory on this is that, the phone was disconnecting 1,500 times, and we were cracking up because it kept making sound effects to tell him he was not wanted in the call. I told him that this poem made me blush all over again reading it, so I did not want to read it. I thought you were going to read it.
No.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think I could read this one.
Wow. Yeah, now we really want to hear it. Now you tempted us. It's like,
say that.
oh, no.
Jesus. All right.
You gotta, hey, that's like this week at the Omni. It's the payoff. You can't say.
Yeah, I know. Jake, me and you get all the wrestling stuff, and then everybody, some people are like, what?
Oh, man.
Yeah, we got to hear this poem. Come on now.
Well, this poem is from Night Full of Diamonds from Whiskey City Press.
Wow.
My favorite press.
Okay. Heard of
this?
Yeah.
You've heard of that? I hope so.
Good things too.
Thank you, Michael. There you go.
Great reviews.
All right. I'll just advance if I, flub up some of these words here. All right. This is called At Night. You sleep with a smile on your lips. I still taste the kisses you left on my own earlier tonight, shortly before you closed your eyes that looked at me with longing and even out of view are still so blue and seem to house skies as open and vast as those above. Unbridled western meadows. I awake again as cars pass by on the dim street outside the room where we lay, braided together as slants of light pattern the wall and fall across our skin. In the silent hum of stillness, I smile and watch you dream.
Night Full of Diamonds, Whiskey City Press.
Yes, Whiskey City Press.
Wow.
I've heard of that.
That was excellent. I love that everybody has done well. I'm the only one that bombed.
Everybody.
Fantastic.
Oh, be kind to yourself.
No, I'm honest. Honesty and kindness don't go hand in hand. I hate to tell you that.
They certainly can sometimes, and I will die on that hill.
Okay. Michael, do you have another?
I do have one, and it's going to be a contrast to what Jen just shared, which was so loving. All right.
Okay.
This is titled, Love Does Funny Little Things Before Dying. Love, in its twisted finale, wields a heavy shovel crafting its final resting spot, hiding away the shattered bits of its ignored and discarded heart. All the peculiar quirks of love's demise, once tangled in its deceptive allure, tasted... I just thought I'd run out of steam to start over. Love, in its twisted finale, wields a heavy shovel, crafting its final resting spot, hiding away the shattered bits of its ignored and discarded heart. All the peculiar quirks of love's demise, once tangled in its deceptive allure, I tasted the bitter onion of affection just once. More than enough. I steer clear of love's grim finale. I steer clear of love's grim farewell. I steer clear of love's grim farewells. They leave a sour taste in my mouth. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get through it. I'm sorry. You're supposed to be laughing with me.
Fantastic.
Hello? Don't leave me hanging, please. Hello.
Oh, man, you read so well, man. I don't know why you worry. It's just fun. This is what this is about. It's like sitting around with all your buddies and passing the bottle around and reading and having fun. It's not like
I don't have a bottle.
well, I don't know where it went. It got empty somehow. Apparently, Skaja has a drinking problem. I don't know.
You're not supposed to tell anybody.
Oops, I'm sorry.
No, it reminds me of a conversation we were on with somebody else where every time John and I joked, they got very upset that I was being picked on.
Yeah, no. She works at the press. She's used to me being a complete dumbass and a pain in the ass and an occasional drinker. I only drink twice a week, weekdays and weekends. I mean, I like to cover all the bases. So there you go.
And why?
Skaja, do you have another for us? Because I know that it annoys you.
Yes, I will read from my book this time.
Wow. Okay.
The book that again is called Consentio Veritatis. And then the poem is called A Delightfully Evil Sadistic Bitch. A friend once described me as succubus-esque, then went on to tell me how it bothered her because I never had to try. She had to hustle to get that kind of attention. Something about my aura, through the enchantment, attracts men like flies to honey. My love of flirting certainly helps. Described on occasion as devious, I revel in being delightfully evil, eliciting responses from lovers, excruciating yet welcome torment. Years later, I was at a game night that often turned to other types of play when an ex found himself attached to a violet wand, and I touched him barely with a piece of metal. I gleefully laughed at his reaction and wished it would have damaged him like he damaged me, while he squirmed and declared me a sadistic bitch. End of that.
Oh, that's very kinky. We like that here at the press. We also like laughing midway to crying. It's fantastic.
We have a good time here.
Yeah, that we do. That's what the show is about, having a good time. Jake, do you have another for us? Do you have another sexy light for us?
Yeah. Let me read, this is a, intercontinental poem. Okay. It crosses borders. In your app.
As the microphone goes on, Jake has been abducted. I hope he's okay. Yeah. Michael, what happened to him? You were supposed to be monitoring everything. You're the engineer of the show.
I don't know. That was big.
This is great. I love
it. Technology is wonderful.
Oh my God!
Yep. Oh, please. Cool. I know technology.
Jake, are you there?
Sorry about this.
All right, Jake.
Do you want to try again? Are you okay? Are you being held hostage? Is there handcuffs involved and whips?
I'm not gonna tap out. This isn't
okay. Try again.
Here I go. This poem is inspired by Nova Scotia. In your absence, I spend my minutes looking towards the moon, awaiting fucking.
Maybe technology doesn't want him to read that poem.
And he's gone again, folks. We have to apologize. And then people say, God, man, this show is like, it's awesome.
Like one of mine,
No, hey, it's fun because you got a bunch of people reading. You get a bunch of people reading, and I'll still use it too, by the way. We're on air. So we're just waiting for Jake to return to put the icing on the cake. I think they've got something going on. I'm just saying. I think there's something. Jake has been taken hostage, and he's He's not being held for ransom, if everybody knows what I mean.
Wait, well, did he message you his safe word? To know he's being held hostage.
Oh, we don't know. We can't, let's not get into too much weirdness, and people will be like, God, what are they into at Whiskey City Press? And it's like, you don't need to know.
Don't worry about that NDA we have you sign.
We might have, Michael, would you like to read us? Do you have any more to read?
Well, I'll read one more, and that'll be it.
Okay.
All right. This past year was really, really rough, Skaja. Really, really rough. One of the worst that I've had. One of the worst. What I'm trying to say is just really, really rough. And I often wondered, where was I inside my own life that all these things happened around me and I didn't see them? I didn't see them. I just didn't see them. So this piece is titled, Where Was I Inside My Own Life? In the labyrinth of existence, amidst the twists and turns of time, there comes a moment when one pauses to ponder, where was I inside my own life? Was I merely a spectator, watching as scenes unfolded before me like a silent film, or was I an active participant, shaping the narrative with each choice and action? In the moments of joy, where laughter danced on the lips and hearts swelled with contentment, was I fully present, soaking in every sensation, or was I elsewhere, lost in the maze of my life? In the tapestry of memories that weave together to form the fabric of my life, where was I? Did I embrace each moment with open arms, savoring the sweetness of the present, or did I drift aimlessly, untethered and adrift? Perhaps the answer lies not in pinpointing a specific location or time, but in acknowledging the journey itself, the ebbs and flows, the highs and lows, the triumphs and tribulations. For every moment, however fleeting, I am there, navigating the labyrinth of life, discovering the essence of who I am and where I belong. Worries and fears don't matter. And in the depth of sorrow, when tears flowed freely and darkness threatened to engulf the soul, where was I then? Did I confront the pain head on, grappling with the turmoil within, or did I retreat into the shadows, seeking solace in the numbness? Where was I, John and Skaja, when dreams were born, shimmering with possibility and beckoning me towards distant horizons? Did I chase after them with my unwavering determination, or did I allow them to slip through my fingers like grains of sand? And where was I when challenges loomed large, casting long shadows across the path? Did I stand tall in the face of adversity, resilient and unwavering, or did I falter, crippled by doubt and uncertainty? Thank you.
Oh, man.
I love that.
That was so, it's been really cool hearing you read. And I know Jake enjoyed it. I know all of us have, man. It's because you give so much with your show that we just don't get to, I know people have heard you read, but like, it's just cool to hear the other side of it, man. And
thank you,
it's
man.
just,
I love this. Thank you for inviting me, because I rarely take the opportunity to share my own work anymore. So anytime I have a chance to, as I call it, metaphorically scream through the power of poetry, I take it. I seize it, just like tonight. So you all made me feel really great and really welcome. So thank you.
Well, you can always be on the show. The whole idea of having the show is just to have a place for everybody to get together and read. It's not about, like I said, and I've said to other people, just, they leave the ego at the door and let's just have fun. That's why we can laugh at things and all the
or not,
all the hiccups or I don't know. I think we all have. I know Jake's had a good time. He was definitely enjoyed it. I think he's out for the count. And I want to thank him definitely for being on the show. Skaja, would you like to inform people how they could be on the show?
Yes. If you would like to be part of the shenanigans that happen here, you can email livefromthedive@gmail.com, and someone will get back to you.
Yes. That someone will be Skaja. John won't get back to you.
Most likely.
Unless it's real late at night, and then you don't know what kind of message you're going to get. But I promise it's all good. So, Skaja, I think you did great reading. Jake did incredible when he hears
you
it.
You also did great reading. You can give yourself a little bit more.
You did.
Oh, yes.
John.
I did crashing
I'm proud
right
of you,
into
man.
the
You
ground.
did some beautiful work. Beautiful work, my friend. Beautiful work.
Thank you. I think you all kicked my ass, and I'm very proud that you did, because I think all of you did outstanding. I dig all your work, and look for books from all of you in the future. And I want to thank you, Michael, for being on the show. Skaja, thank you for being on the show and having a battle royal with the host, because there can only be one Highlander. I hate to break it to you.
Skaja is the first lady of Whiskey City Press.
I am.
That she is.
I am.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
She is. That's true. Absolutely true.
the first woman published by Whiskey City Press. I got that earlier this year. And also, at that point too, John gave me my first Best on Net nomination, like my first nomination ever for writing.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
See, this is how people support people. How poets support poets.
Yep.
Beautiful. I like it. It makes me happy.
That is true.
And then what Michael mentioned earlier this year when I was on his show, and it got chosen as like a staff favorite. So it's been a pretty solid year for me. And now that all that stuff's happening, I'm having trouble writing the second book.
It can be a lot of pressure. It can be. You know, folks, I want to annoy you even more, and I'm going to read you one last one. I think everybody wants to read. Wants John to read one last one.
Yeah.
And John thinks so. So that's what matters. The voices in my head all agree. This is very early, and then this is it, kids. This is the encore. It's called All You Need to Know. And it's from a book I did a long time ago called A Cold Beer Beats a Warm Heart. There is a place in all of us that write. It's fractured and somehow works without reason. Love by nature will never work or make a damn bit of sense. I used to believe I knew everything, as a young man's ego is a wildfire that consumes everything within its path. I have died in my thoughts. Now I exist a fool of many a shattered dream and false ending. The scene doesn't portray my truth's direction as much as it simply guides to the next story in hopes there are more to come. There is nothing certain in life, let alone upon this page, and some things are left unwritten as this. And that's the end of that one. So,
great way to end, man. Wonderful poem. Well written.
Yes.
This has been a sublime evening.
Yeah. Michael, I want to, hey, anytime you want to be on the show, this is kind of show that people can be on as much as they want to be. There are no rules. Again, email us. Michael, man, thanks for being on the show. Skaja, thank you for being on the show and hosting it. And for y'all.
First lady.
Good night, my friend.
And thank you to Jake and Jen who technology got them.
Yes. Good night,
Jake and Jen, top-notch poets.